Okay, so who was down for Amy tearing up within 30 minutes of the movie about Tony Stark? Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. Yes, of course, we are talking about Spider-Man Far From Home today, and I am so excited. And yes, I did tear up within 30 minutes of the movie, and I did start actually crying. Tears were coming down my face about an hour and a half into this movie, all because of Tony Stark. Spoilers for Endgame, if you haven't seen it, why are you watching this? If you haven't seen Endgame and you don't want to be spoiled about Endgame, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home, and we're going to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal. It's going to be a short review because it's a very simple review. I could probably give you my rewatch score for this right up front. You probably already know my rewatch score for this right up front is going to be. It's the same as it is for pretty much any Marvel movie, except for Captain Marvel. For some reason, I gave that a Netflix. Even though looking back on it, I should have given it a collection. I don't know what I was thinking. It was one of those reviews that I was still doing, I think, back when I was doing the review as soon as I watched the movie. Anyways, we're talking about Spider-Man, not Captain Marvel, even though they do drop her name in this. So, of course, I was very excited. This is one of the movies that I was most excited for this year, especially after watching Endgame, because I wanted to see how everything was going to look after the snap, because we didn't really get a whole lot of that besides seeing what happened with Cap and the funeral. That's pretty much all we got to see. So I was really excited. They really went headfirst into this, and I think they did a very great job. They poked fun at it, and they kind of did an okay job explaining the whole situation with like the way Peter Parker was 16 when he got snapped, and then he should be like in his 20s now. They kind of do a little bit with that, but I feel like it wasn't like super clear. Like I think some of the 21-year-old kids are still in high school? I don't know. I was a little bit confused on that. Either way, I kind of forgot about that with the rest of the movie. I didn't forget about the rest of the movie. I kind of forgot about that over the course of the rest of the movie because it's not that big of a deal. It is for one particular character, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie besides the fact that there's all of these, well, that's a spoiler. I don't want to do any spoilers in this. I don't know if I'll do a spoiler review, but I will try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. And I feel like I'm just kind of going off the rails right now. I'm rambling. Let's try to get this a little bit more structured. So let's talk about some of the things I wasn't super fond of in this. They do play a couple of Peter's big superhero moments, like with the boat, that they played that again in this to a different effect. And instead of having Tony save him, because he can't, aw, tears, they do something else with it. I mean, yeah, it was kind of like, oh, we already saw that. Why do we need to see that again? That's really the only qualm I had about it. Maybe the fact that some of it got a little bit forgettable once I left the theater, but it is definitely a movie that I want to watch again and again and again, like pretty much any Marvel movie. As you can see, I am a huge fan of Friends and Marvel movies. But let's talk about all of the things I liked about this, which is pretty much the entire 2 hours and 30 minutes that this movie is. It's not as long as Endgame, and it's not 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's definitely not 2 hours and 40 minutes, but it's a long one. I enjoyed myself the entire time. I was laughing, of course. I was crying. I was tearing up. I was sad about Tony. He was my favorite Avenger, even though I am a big fan of Chris Evans. Tony Iron Man is my favorite Avenger. I love that it kept the 80s John Hughes, like keen romantic comedies of the 80s, influence that Homecoming had. They brought it into this and they kind of turned it up to an 11. It wasn't like straight up a 80s teen rom-com, but it felt a little bit more in that vein, which is something I love about the way Marvel movies are, is that they aren't necessarily put in this box of a superhero movie. They are more than that. They are so much more than that a lot of the time. Like a lot of the Captain America movies are really like they're more war movies, especially the first one, and then the second one is like Winter Soldier is definitely kind of, it's not like super espionage-y, but it is a little bit more like they're trying to get government secrets. And then Spider-Man, both Spider-Man movies are very much John Hughes movies, which I absolutely adore. And let's talk a little bit about some of the cast members. Two major ones that I really loved that aren't Tom Holland. Of course, Jake Gyllenhaal, because I've had a crush on Jake Gyllenhaal since I think 2000. Was that when October Sky came out? Hold on. Okay, I was close. 1999. So I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. I wasn't 10. I was 8 or 9 years old when October Sky came out, and I've had a crush on Jake Gyllenhaal ever since then. He was like my second big celebrity crush. This movie was no exception. I feel like he really could have played this in such a goofy way that a lot of comic book characters can get portrayed on screen. He did not do that. He played this to his Jake Gyllenhaal-iest, and he was fantastic. And I can't wait to see if we will have more of him in future Spider-Man movies or future Avengers or any other Marvel movies in the future. And then the second actor that I really wanted to mention, actually I kind of want to put two characters into this one because they are not the same character, but they both play teachers. That is Martin Starr and JB Smoove. They are a hilarious pair. I kind of want a small little mini Disney Plus series based around those two characters, like maybe a couple like webisodes or something, because their dynamic together is hilarious. I just love Martin Starr in general. He is so funny. He's probably one of my favorite characters on Silicon Valley, at least the 2 seasons that I have seen. I absolutely love, where does it go? I have Freaks and Geeks right here. I loved him in Freaks and Geeks too. He's hilarious. He's so great. He was so good in the first one. I said so many times there. But Martin Starr is great, and JB Smoove is amazing. He kind of replaced Hannibal Buress in this one, because Hannibal Buress was a gym teacher, and then JB Smoove is a science teacher. And yeah, the rest of his classmates are amazing. Zendaya, I feel like, had such a better role in this, and she played it so well. I can't wait to see what happens if we get another Spider-Man movie. Hopefully Sony will let, like, Marvel and, like, Sony won't take the reins on it, because I was not a fan of Venom, but a lot of people apparently were. Anyways, other things that I liked about this are the effects. There are a lot of visual effects in this. It is a very visual effects heavy movie, not just because it's like a superhero movie. Things that happen within the movie that I'm not going to spoil around a certain character are very visual effects heavy, and the way that they did that, it was really great. They looked beautiful. I got a lot of Doctor Strange vibes, not necessarily the character, but Doctor Strange the movie. And they even kind of label this character, this one specific character, as Doctor Strange for a hot second, and it's kind of funny. I don't think that really has, they're not the same thing. They're mutually exclusive. Is that what that means? I always get confused on what that means. Anyways, it's not time for a like idiom lesson. Is that an idiom? Oh my god, it's not time for an English class. I need to like actually do this review. But I think that probably is everything I can say about this. It's just so much fun. I really want to see it again. I want to see it like 3 times like I saw in game. My rewatch score, obviously it's going to be collection. Why did I give Captain Marvel a Netflix? Or like even a Redbox. I don't remember what I gave it. Every Marvel movie, I feel like, for me, is usually a collection, because they've never steered me wrong, except for Thor and Thor Dark World. And let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on Spider-Man Far From Home. I will say I did like Homecoming a little bit better than this, just because I love the dynamic between Michael... Although I did like Homecoming a tiny bit more from this, just because I love the dynamic between Michael Keaton and Tom Holland's characters, but I did also really love the dynamic between Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland's characters in this. So it's kind of hard to decide. I think I'd have to like rewatch them back to back again sometime, probably when Far From Home is out on Blu-ray. Either way, let me know, what was your favorite Spider-Man of these two, or just like, you know, the 5, 6 other ones that came before these two. Well, technically Into Spider-Verse came out after Homecoming, but the 6 other Spider-Man movies plus Homecoming and Far From Home, let me know your favorite. I don't know what I'm doing right now. It's a 4-day weekend. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate you. Whoever you are, let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I love talking on these movies, TV shows, filmmaking, mystery, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye!